A lot going on. Thanks for being here. I'm Stephen Romo in for Joe and Savannah today. And we start things off this morning with concerning new violence in the Middle East. This morning, Iranian-backed militant groups are ramping up their attacks as a show of solidarity with Hamas. Two U.S. defense officials tell NBC News militants in Syria fired a series of rockets yesterday targeting U.S. and allied forces at a base there. There ended up being no injuries or damage reported from that attack. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthi rebels are continuing their assaults in the Red Sea. U.S. forces there report shooting down attack drones, ballistic and cruise missiles that were headed for targets in that crucial shipping channel. And it all comes just hours after the U.S. launched a series of retaliatory airstrikes on Iranian-backed militant groups in Iraq. Officials say the strikes came after U.S. service members were injured by a drone attack on their base. NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us now with more. So, Monica, what do we know about the impact of those retaliatory strikes that the U.S. ended up launching?
Well, we have seen this happen time and time again, Stephen. This is really a policy of the United States, of President Biden, that if U.S. personnel are targeted in the way that these were, where we did see those strikes that did injure 3 U.S. service members, one critically at the time. That person is now stable, we understand, but that the U.S. then decides that it can respond and carry out that response in the manner and timing of its choosing. And so those strikes that we did see in retaliation were targeted to 3 facilities where we do know these Iranian-backed militant groups operate from. And so the U.S. and defense officials believe that that was successful in terms of eliminating some of the threat there and really targeting some of the key infrastructure that makes these kinds of strikes possible. Now, what's significant here is really the timing of all of this and how quickly this response came, because sometimes you see some provocations and then there are days in difference before you see any kind of a response. But this one was really carried out quite swiftly, again, because specifically U.S. personnel were targeted and injured, Stephen.
And Monica, it feels like just so much going on here. We've got the Houthi militants targeting ships in Yemen and U.S. forces and allies getting attacked at that base in Syria. It's worrying, to say the least, and adding to this already difficult situation. So how is the Biden administration responding here? And is there any insight on how this could continue to play out?
Exactly. We're talking about these different groups. We're talking about these different strikes. But this is not happening in a vacuum. And a lot of it, of course, is connected, according to these groups, to what is happening with the war between Israel and Hamas. And some of these Iranian-backed groups say specifically they're targeting the U.S. because the U.S. has pledged its support and military support to Israel in that fight against Hamas. So we know that Secretary Lloyd Austin put out a statement yesterday warning specifically about how this could inflame the region and how this could lead to a possibly wider conflict, which is what the U.S. is really trying to avoid. So he did emphasize here, saying, let me be clear, the president and I will not hesitate to take necessary action to defend the United States, our troops, and our interests. There is no higher priority. And again, the reason this is significant is because we have now seen more than 100 attacks on U.S. troops and really on their bases since the start of the Israel-Hamas war. Since mid-October, you have seen 49 of those in Iraq, 56 in Syria, again, targeting those U.S. forces. And that is what is so concerning here to the president and the Biden administration, Stephen.
Certainly a lot to keep our eye on. And we've heard many times now Israel not likely to change unless more pressure comes from the outside. And on that front, we understand that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his most senior advisors, met with White House and State Department officials in Washington yesterday. Israeli military leaders signaled that they expect the war to go on for many months. Separately from that meeting, do we know what ended up coming out of those talks, and if that meeting itself could be a signal of some growing impatience for the White House and how Israel is conducting operations in Gaza?
Well, it is certainly a continuation in this pattern of these close talks that we have seen between U.S. and Israeli officials. This was a key minister in terms of strategic affairs, Ron Dermer, who came to Washington. He met with Secretary Blinken. He met with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. And we understand that they really discussed a couple of things. Number one, they did discuss how they would like to see Israel ideally move its high-intensity operation into one that is now more specifically targeting Hamas. Hamas leaders. Secondly, they also discussed, of course, the humanitarian crisis and how really the care of civilians is something that the U.S. is really pushing for. And then finally, Stephen, they also touched on, of course, the remaining hostages in Gaza and doing everything possible to try to see if there can be another pause in fighting to see if they can get any of them home. Stephen.
Yeah, and the Biden administration hearing a lot from Americans on that front as well. Monica Alba, thanks so much. And NBC News military analyst and Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Jack Jacobs joins us now for a closer look at this. Thanks for being here, Colonel. So Israel signaling it's not slowing down here. There's a new push in the war, expanding into the refugee camps in central Gaza. What does that show us about Israel's mindset moving forward?
Well, Israel's got a number of missions here, and you could look at them as being mutually exclusive. It's got to defeat Hamas. That's its stated goal, and its primary goal. Get hostages back. Minimize Israeli casualties. Minimize civilian casualties. Do it all very, very quickly and continue to engender the support of the United States and its allies. Like I said, these things are mutually exclusive. It's going to be extremely difficult for all these things to occur. And in the end, the likelihood is that they will continue the attacks. They will take a long time. There'll be a lot of Israeli and civilian casualties. And support for Israel's mission there will erode over time. This means that ultimately it's possible that there'll be some sort of negotiated settlement because neither Hamas nor Israel nor the United States support will continue forever, Stephen.
And on that issue of the United States involvement, there's more fear than ever of the U.S. being pulled in. These militant groups backed by Iran in Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq, along with the Houthi rebels over in Yemen. They're escalating their attacks, as we were just discussing with Monica there. So how big of a concern should this be for the U.S. and its involvement?
Well, it's a big concern. If you listen to the leadership in the United States, both the President of the United States and Secretary Austin, they're very much concerned about being drawn directly into the fight more than they are now. We heard from Monica that there have been more than 100 attacks on American interests, American troops there. These things will continue because Iran does not itself want to get directly involved. And that's why it's using proxies. But the attacks will increase over time. And if, as and when, there is an American loss of life, you can expect that American retaliation will be swifter and, instead of being proportional as it has been till now, will be far more violent. The United States does not want to get involved in a war with Iran. Neither does Iran want to get involved in a war with the United States. But unless the United States administration shows some resolve, if American lives are lost, then there will be a loss of support among the American public for the National Command Authority here in the United States, Stephen.
A lot of moving parts here. Colonel Jack Jacobs, thanks so much for your insight this morning.
Sure.
Well, there's tension not just in Gaza. Palestinians are reaching a breaking point in the West Bank as well. They say Israeli settlers have ramped up their efforts to push Palestinians out of their homes since the war started. NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel has a look at that side of the war.
The tiny Palestinian village of Atwani is in the West Bank, where shepherds still tend their flocks in scenes unchanged for centuries. Sami Hourani, whose family has lived here for generations, told me since Hamas's October 7th massacre, Jewish settlers have become far more aggressive in their long campaign to drive Palestinians from this land.
And the idea is just to make your life so hard that you'll leave. To make the life unlivable, unsustainable, unsafe. Just at some point you will flee away from here.
Sami says the attackers come from Chavat Maon, a Jewish settlement built on occupied Palestinian land. The settlement is illegal under international and Israeli law.
Now they have more and more authority and more protection to do what they want.
That includes, he says, shooting at Palestinians.
So if you were shot right now, there would be no consequences? No consequences. No one would ask.
It didn't take long before we were noticed.
There's a Jeep coming toward us now.
He was dressed like an Israeli soldier, but had no name tag or rank.
You want us to leave?
Yes.
Okay.
What's
the problem?
Stop the camera. Get into the car now.
Okay.
Get into the car now. Leave it.
We are generous.
Get into the car now.
He needs his ID.
Get into the car now.
He needs his ID to go.
Yes. Get into the car now.
Okay. What do you think is going to happen now?
I really don't know. Anything can happen. Now we will see.
We left without further incident. Sammy shared with us other videos appearing to show settlers attacking his neighbors. The Israeli government responded in a statement, saying in part it has zero tolerance for citizens taking the law into their own hands, and that most of the so-called settlers are law-abiding citizens.
The vast majority of violence that's committed by settlers goes absolutely undocumented, unaccounted for.
Eliana Boswell is a Jewish American activist documenting violence against Palestinians in the West Bank.
Does the Israeli government support this movement?
Absolutely. I think it's essential to understand that the settler movement and the Israeli government are deeply enmeshed and intertwined.
The settlers are not hiding their goal of full Jewish control of the West Bank and Gaza Strip and believe October 7th was a turning point. Daniela Weiss is a leader of the settler movement.
We are not going to give sovereignty, national independence to Arabs in the Jewish land. I make it as clear as possible. Enough is enough. No patience, no forgiveness, no consideration. Out.
Deliberately expelling an entire people from their homeland is a war crime.
Because they deliberately killed my friends. They massacred my friends, and this is the way I react. I'm full with pain for my people, so I do not have room for other people.
Richard Engel, NBC News in the West Bank.
To some sad news out of South Korea this morning. Police there say actor Lee Sunun, star of the Oscar-winning film Parasite, has died in an apparent suicide. Authorities say Lee, who had been under investigation for drug allegations, a serious crime in South Korea, was found dead in a car in Seoul on Wednesday. Lee, along with his fellow Parasite cast members, was awarded Outstanding Performance by a cast in a motion picture at the 2019 SAG Awards. He was 48 years old. Now, more on the holiday rush. It's a busy time on the roads and in the skies as millions are traveling this week between Christmas and New Year's Day. But weather could put a damper on plans today. We'll have more on today's forecast coming up in just a moment with meteorologist Michelle Grossman. But first, let's bring in NBC News reporter Julia Jester. She joins us now from Reagan National Airport. Julia, good morning to you. So how are things looking right now?
Good morning, Stephen. Here at the airport, there are minimal delays, only a handful, but passengers at other airports aren't as lucky. There have been more than 400 delays and 80 cancellations in the U.S. so far this morning, with northeastern airports getting hit especially hard with those. New York, Boston, Newark, and New Jersey. And so while the rain here has held off for now, as a storm system moves through the northeast, we could see more throughout the day. We're already seeing long lines at the airport. Very busy, crowded travel day here. So be sure to check with your airlines and get to the airport early if you're traveling today, Stephen.
Hey, you mentioned those delays and cancellations already today. Is that expected to increase? And how are airports dealing with this double whammy of both the weather and that surge of passengers?
Yes, as the weather system moves throughout the country today, you could see potentially an increase in those. Palm Beach Airport already has a ground delay throughout the day today. And I was here at DCA just last week with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and FAA Administrator Whitaker, who previewed a bit of the travel season, noting that they have been in close contact with the National Weather Service to prepare for possible weather impacts. And they've taken steps such as minimizing
using space launches and opening up military airspace for more air routes to mitigate potential cancellations and delays. Buttigieg boasted the fact that there have been the lowest number of cancellations in the U.S. this year in the past 5 years. They're hoping to keep it this way through the holiday season. And so between that and the FAA in a daily dialogue, even hourly dialogue with airlines to ensure that air traffic control is going smoothly, they're really trying to prevent potential meltdowns like we saw last year during the holiday season with Southwest, who was recently fined to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars for canceling upwards of 17,000 flights. So really trying to avoid potential disruptions this year, Stephen.
Yeah, it's great to hear there are fewer cancellations. Unless you are under one of those cancellations, then it doesn't really matter the trends. It's just such an awful situation. Julie, I did want to mention the TSA says more than 12 million passengers flew over the Christmas holiday weekend. So how is it looking in the days ahead? A lot of people think they can breathe a sigh of relief, but there's still a lot of travel, people moving around ahead of New Year's.
Absolutely, and TSA has really prepared for this deluge of passengers, but they also advise that travelers take it on themselves to come to the airport early, come prepared, know what you can and cannot carry on in your suitcase to make sure that you're not holding up a line. And when it comes to screening passengers and making sure they're prepared and on time and ready for possible delays, another element to this is making sure that you are checking with your airline about your flight, and if your flight is canceled or delayed, know your rights as a passenger. You may be entitled to meal or hotel vouchers or rebooking compensation, Stephen. So just be prepared, be early, and be kind.
Great advice, and get those vouchers. You can be kind while asking for a voucher. I know I do it all the time. Julia Jester, thanks so much. Well, as millions of Americans continue their holiday travel rush, the East and West Coast continue to see some wet and soggy conditions. For more, let's get a check of our morning News Now forecast. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman joins us now with more. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Stephen. Great to see you. And it's going to be really soggy on the East Coast and also the West Coast. The East Coast first, that's the storm system that we watched with all the blizzard warnings and snow in the plains. That is tapered off to just snow showers today. It's winding down. We're going to see a little snow shower, maybe even some rain mixing in parts of Missouri. That's about it. The focus will be in the East Coast. Look at all this rain falling right now. Where you see those brighter colors, that is the heaviest rain falling. So extending from the Great Lakes to parts of New England, down to parts of the Carolinas and the Southeast. And it's going to be a wet day today. No doubt, I do think we'll see some delays along the East Coast and the major airports. So as we go throughout the day, we're watching that area of low pressure right up the coast here. Heavy rain moving northward during the afternoon. So it's not just the morning. We'll see afternoon rain. It will be heavy at times through the evening, and then we're going to see that rain lingering into Thursday as well. Now, remember all that rain we had just recently. We're going to see a threat to the rivers, also some streams, some creeks. So we're going to watch that very, very closely. It's not going to take much to make those rivers and streams and creeks rise. Then by tomorrow, we're looking at a band of rain, some snow right along the Great Lakes. Where you see the blue, that is the snow falling. The rain is the green there. And we're looking at the steadiest rain moving into New England by Thursday. Then as we near Friday, we're looking at snow showers still in the Midwest. So this system really hangs on. It's a slow mover. It's slow to get out of here. And we're looking at unsettled weather still in the Northeast and the East Coast on Friday. We're looking at a lot of rain, especially along the East Coast. New York City could see quite a few inches. We're looking at anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain. So again, we're going to watch this very closely because the grounds are so saturated. Snowfall, not talking about a whole lot, but it doesn't take much to slow you down on the roads, especially with all the volume, with the traffic. You see the blue, that's a little bit around St. Louis where we could see more snow there, but we're looking generally 1 to 3 inches of snow. Let's talk about travel because we are interested in that this time of year. New York City, we're looking at likely delays in New York City, D.C., also Charlotte, likely delays. Look at the West Coast. We're going to talk about that storm as well because we're going to see delays most likely in Seattle, San Francisco. In the Northeast, we're starting out with pockets of heavy fog this morning, and it is dense in some spots. Also looking at the chance for some heavy rain as we go throughout the afternoon. The West Coast, coastal rain with gusty conditions. And then by tomorrow, not much improvement. Likely seeing delays in Boston, New York City, and this is just up in the air. On the roadways, most likely seeing some slowdowns as well because the rain will be falling Philadelphia, D.C., Chicago, possibly seeing some delays as well. Let's talk about that West Coast storm because we have a series of storms still moving onshore today. Here's the next one. We're looking at that rain returning from California into Washington and could see winds gusting up to 60 miles per hour. So messy on the East Coast, messy too on the West Coast. Stephen?
Ooh, a lot of messiness out there. Don't like that. Michelle, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.